Hey friends, welcome to Mystery Vault. So guys, today we're going to talk about the 2002 Bollywood horror movie Raaz. Without wasting any more time, let's jump straight into the explanation. The movie starts with us seeing the beautiful hills and views of Ooty, and here a group of college kids has come to have fun. These people are enjoying themselves, and while playing truth or dare, a girl named Nisha gets dared to kiss her boyfriend in front of everyone. She gets shy and runs into the jungle. Her boyfriend follows her, but Nisha was hiding. While sneaking back without him noticing, she suddenly feels a weird presence, and soon she hears a girl's screaming voice that was full of pain. Nisha suddenly gets possessed. Now the scene cuts, and we see Professor Agni Swaroop, who gets a bad feeling that something wrong has happened. And right then, the local police inspector comes to meet the professor and mentions a strange case that in the jungle, a girl named Nisha suddenly attacked her boyfriend, and now she's behaving strangely. When Professor Agni reaches the hospital, he sees Nisha's boyfriend who was injured, and Nisha was locked up in a room. They had given her 2 injections to make her sleep, but still she was screaming and saying, "Now I've woken up and I won't leave her." And that too in a heavy voice. The doctor thought that fever had reached Nisha's brain, and that's why she was acting like this. But the professor says that a spirit has entered her, and he tells Nisha's boyfriend that time is very short, and if you want to save her, tell me where all this happened. Now Nisha's boyfriend takes all these people to the jungle where it all happened. Here the professor doesn't find anything, but then he gets a call that Nisha has died, meaning it was clear that the awakened spirit had some purpose which it would only fulfill and then be satisfied. Now the scene shifts to Mumbai, where a girl named Sanjana is at a bar with her husband Aditya. Aditya was a big businessman and had many hotels all over India. He had come here for a meeting with some foreign company, but Sanjana had been ignored by Aditya for a long time, and they hadn't even talked properly for months. And because of this emotional toll, Sanjana had to take sleeping pills, and it had become a habit for her. She takes some pills here too and seeks comfort from Aditya, saying she needs his time, she's tired of always fighting, and she also says that you changed a lot just 1 year after marriage. Aditya scolds Sanjana here and goes back to the party, so Sanjana, crying alone, drives home. On the way, some unknown entity calls her name in her ear, because of which Sanjana gets distracted and her car has an accident. In the hospital, it turns out that Sanjana didn't have much injury and she was completely fine. When Aditya meets her, Sanjana talks about taking divorce. Aditya realizes his mistake, and that's why he asks for one more chance from Sanjana and suggests going somewhere for a trip. Sanjana says she wants to go where they both spent the most time, their Ooty house. So both go to Ooty, and Sanjana, entering the house, remembers the old days. But she was still angry with Aditya and wasn't talking much to him. At night, when Aditya is sleeping, Sanjana can't sleep. She stands near the window from where faint light was coming in. When she goes a bit closer to the window, she again hears a voice and someone calling her name. Also, she hears the same painful screaming voice like Nisha heard in the beginning. She gets scared, but out of curiosity goes outside to check if someone needs help. Following the voice, she reaches the jungle and she was very scared. Then Aditya comes from behind and handles her. Back in the house, she tells Aditya that she was hearing a woman's screaming voice, and it seemed like she was in a lot of pain. And obviously, Aditya doesn't believe her words, so she gets even more angry with him and starts taking sleeping pills. Aditya stops her from taking the pills, but she says that when you weren't with me, these pills were with me. Now she can't sleep without them. And she takes them and falls asleep the next day. Aditya goes to his Ooty hotel, which was being managed by his college friends Priya and her husband. Aditya tells his friends about the cracks in his relationship, hearing which his friends say will also help you in winning Sanjana back. Here on the other side at home, Sanjana is working in the garden. Paranormal events start happening with her, like the gardening tool falling down again and again with blood on it, feeling someone's presence. Then the house phone rings, and when Sanjana picks it up, no one answers from the other side, and then her and Aditya's photo starts shaking and suddenly falls. Then a woman comes there whom Aditya had sent. She was the new maid of the house. Sanjana asks the new maid where their old servant Robert is. Then she finds out that he has been missing for the last 8 months. This was quite strange. Robert was one of their oldest and loyal servants, and he's missing. Hearing this, Sanjana meets Robert's wife. Then Robert's wife tells her that before disappearing, he used to act very strangely. Like instead of going to work himself, he would send someone else, as if he was scared to go into the house. And he used to hear a woman's screaming voice, which only he could hear. He would keep his ears closed the whole day, muttering to stop these voices. And one day, he suddenly disappeared. Robert's wife had called Aditya and told him that Robert is missing, but Aditya didn't pay much attention to it. In the evening, Aditya and Sanjana's friends Priya and her husband come to their house, and these people are showing Sanjana old days pictures of how Aditya and she used to be happy before. Then Sanjana becomes normal for some time, and at night, she's spending time with Aditya. Then suddenly from the windows outside, we are shown some entities breathing, and suddenly Sanjana hears a gunshot sound, and then the room windows open by themselves. Sanjana tells Aditya about hearing the gunshot, but Aditya says it was the sound of the window, not a gunshot. Then Sanjana asks him about Robert, why he hid the news of his disappearance from her. So he says, he has many servants, he can't keep track of everyone, that's why he didn't tell anyone. And guys, Aditya's behavior is kind of getting strange now. These people sleep at night? Then Sanjana's sleep breaks. She hears someone's muttering voice, so she comes out to see it's Robert, who tells her that only both of them hear these voices, and please save him or else listening to these voices, he'll go mad and die. Also, while saying this, he picks up a brick and starts hitting his head with it. And suddenly Sanjana wakes up, meaning it was her dream. Next day, Sanjana tells all the paranormal events to her friend Priya. So Priya gives advice. There's an expert in paranormal events and Vastu Shastra in her acquaintance named Professor Agni Swarup. Let's go meet him. He might tell something. Soon both meet him, and Professor Swarup comes to their house. He doesn't see anything there, but his body feels some negative presence. So Professor Swarup goes to a room upstairs and puts a lemon in a cloth and tells Sanjana that if there's a spirit in this house, this lemon will turn red by evening. So open it in the evening and check. Sanjana waits till evening, and as the sun set when she checks the lemon, it had turned red, meaning there really was a spirit in that house. Sanjana goes crying to Aditya, who was in a hotel meeting, and tells him everything about how the lemon kept in her house turned red by itself. He calms Sanjana down, and next morning he goes to the college and beats up the professor a lot and calls him a fraud, saying, "You trap people for money." Now, whatever happened here gets printed in the next day's newspaper that businessman Aditya assaulted a professor. Hearing this, Aditya's dad calls him and says, "There's a meeting with a foreign party tomorrow, so come back to Mumbai early tomorrow morning or there will be loss of crores. Also, staying there isn't good for you." So Aditya and Sanjana start going to Bangalore by road, because their Mumbai flight was from Bangalore. On the other side, Priya goes to meet Professor Swarup and says sorry on behalf of Sanjana, and says Sanjana is going to Mumbai now. She'll meet you again when she returns. So Professor Swarup tells Priya that the spirit won't let Sanjana go out of Ooty until it fulfills its purpose. And that's exactly what happens on the road Aditya and Sanjana are taking to Bangalore. There's a landslide and it'll take 6-7 hours to clear the road. So their flight gets missed and they come back home. At night, Aditya says his going is necessary, so he'll go by road from another route. But that route is surrounded by dense jungles, so he tells Sanjana to stay there and leaves with his friend, meaning Sanjana is now alone in the entire house. And that's why Priya convinces Sanjana and asks her to come to her house because this house is haunted. But Sanjana tells Priya that today she'll find out for sure if there's a spirit in this house or not. And she also wants to know its purpose. And that's why she tells Priya to go and waits for midnight. And as soon as it's midnight, paranormal events start in that house first. The house door opens and closes. And when Sanjana goes to check, that door is opening and closing by itself again and again. Sanjana locks the door, and as soon as she turns back, she again feels negative presence, and her hair suddenly starts flying, and blood starts dripping from the chandelier in the house. Sanjana gets scared and starts running. Then all the doors in the house lock from inside by themselves. And in front of a mirror, for the first time, Sanjana sees the spirit that was in the house. Sanjana, scared, runs out of the house and screaming tells the spirit that, "I'll get you out of my house no matter what." And saying this, she faints. Next morning, she goes with Priya to Professor Agni Swarup, where the professor says maybe the spirit wants to say something to you. So let's go to the place where all this started. So these people go to the jungle where for the first time, the spirit had killed the college trip girl, Nisha. There too, some paranormal events happen with Sanjana, but she finds a gun lying there. Now when these people investigate about that gun, it belonged to an army major who lived in Ooty. When Sanjana and the professor go to meet the major, they find out that his daughter Malini had run away from home, taking his gun. She was mentally unstable, that's why he had kept her in mental hospital many times. But she escaped from there too. And today, through these people, he finds out that perhaps she is dead, and her spirit is still wandering. Now, after getting this information, again, the professor says we can find out what the spirit wants, and it will come to you itself. But for the spirit to come to you, you have to do one thing. He gives Sanjana a book in which some mantras were written, which Sanjana had to read alone in that house at night. Now Aditya had also been away for a few days, so he could return any time. So Sanjana alone at night starts reading this mantra in the house. And soon that spirit, meaning Malini's spirit, possesses Sanjana. Late at night, Aditya returns home, so possessed Sanjana starts getting intimate with Aditya and says, "Why are you shy?" And she shows Aditya her real face, which was the spirit's. Now as soon as Aditya sees his wife possessed, he pushes her down, because of which the spirit inside Sanjana leaves from there. Now Aditya, scared, says, "You had died. How did you come here?" Now when Sanjana, who has come to her senses, hears Aditya saying this, she asks, "How do you know about this spirit? And what do you know? I want to know everything truthfully." And here Aditya tells the whole story, actually, 1 year ago. A few months after Aditya and Sanjana's marriage, Aditya had come to Ooty for a business trip. Then one night, because of rain, Major's daughter Malini came to Aditya's house and requested to stay there for the night. Aditya agreed at that time, and now a moment builds between them, and Aditya couldn't control himself and both get intimate. Now as long as Aditya was there, he stayed with Malini, and both were living kinda like husband and wife. And one night when Sanjana calls Aditya, he realizes that he's cheating on his wife. Also, Malini started forcing Aditya to tell Sanjana everything about them, and she was completely crazy for Aditya. Slowly she became so crazy that she burned Sanjana's photos. So Aditya decided to throw Malini out of the house, and he does that, he throws Malini out of the house. But Malini was completely mad. She would follow him day and night and try to convince him. But after 2-3 days, one night, Malini comes and asks Aditya if he'll accept her and separate from Sanjana or not. If not, she'll kill herself with her father's gun. Aditya refuses to accept her, so Malini in anger screaming shoots herself. And guys, that's why from the beginning Sanjana heard screaming and gunshot sounds. So at that time, Aditya with his servant Robert buried Malini's body in the jungle. And that's why Robert also heard those voices. Also, that spirit, meaning Malini's spirit, took Robert's life too. Now, hearing the whole truth, Sanjana leaves Aditya because he cheated on her and starts living with her friend Priya. Also, she tells Professor and Priya that she'll go back to Mumbai and never keep relations with Aditya. So the professor here says that actually, this is what the spirit wants, that you leave from here. And it kills Aditya and takes Aditya forever to the afterlife. Hearing this, Sanjana decides that she'll save her husband, Aditya's life. So she starts coming back to Aditya with Professor and Priya. But Malini's spirit had already taken Sanjana's form, and in Sanjana's form, tells Aditya that let's both go to Mumbai, so your life will be saved. Aditya thinks this is his wife Sanjana, and she has forgiven him. That's why he starts going with her. By the time Sanjana reaches home with Professor and Priya, Aditya had already left with the spirit. And Malini's spirit in the car shows Aditya her real form, because of which Aditya loses control of his car and the car falls into the ravine. Now Aditya is taken to hospital where his chances of survival were very low. But according to the professor, there's only one way to save him: find Malini's body and burn it. So Professor with Sanjana and Priya goes to the jungle and taking a lemon, chanting mantras, starts walking in different places in the jungle. And soon at one place, the lemon turns red, meaning Malini's body was buried here. Now these people dig and find Malini's body, and the professor says, "We'll burn it right here, I'll go get petrol." And as soon as the professor goes to the car to get petrol, Malini's spirit kills him, and possessing the professor's body gives petrol and matches to Sanjana. Now as soon as Sanjana is pouring petrol on the body, Malini's spirit, which was in the professor's body, attacks Sanjana. It throws Priya far away and goes after Sanjana. And here, there's a lot of chase game. Also here, we find Robert's body hanging upside down from bushes. But at the end, Sanjana, with the help of the car pins, the possessed professor's body against a tree, and taking petrol from the car, she succeeds in burning Malini's body. And the spirit in the professor's body, trying to stop Sanjana, falls into the fire with that body, because of which Malini's spirit gets liberated. And really, as soon as the spirit gets liberated, in the hospital, Aditya's life is saved. Now at the end, everything was fine. After some time, when Aditya fully recovers, these people come back to Ooty, and here we see that Sanjana has forgiven her husband, Aditya. And with this, guys, the movie ends here. So friends, this was the explanation of Raaz movie. We'll meet with some other secret